I don't have an intro. You think I come prepared to this?
Okay, I got one.
Well, we're already going, so welcome to the Devin Bob Show. Did you see what I did there?
Whatever, dude. I hate you.
Did you see what I did there? See, that was amazing, and it totally caught you off guard, and I feel like I am the king right now of...
What this means is that I just need to be more prepared so that you can't catch me off guard.
That's true. So this is the Devin Bob Show. This is episode 20. So as you notice, we are calling it the Devin Bob Show. It did get rebranded from the Jim Bob Show, but this is overall, the entire thing is episode 20. And from there, we have a big 20th episode guest. He's amazing. His name... Yeah. Exactly. His name is Sporksan.
Hey, how's it going?
He is a Twitcher.
I'm a junior Twitcher.
Junior Twitcher. So
yeah.
You do have a Twitch. You do Twitch video games. So that's why we decided to bring you on. Fun fact, you are also related to... Not related, you are married to somebody that was on the show. Is that correct?
Yeah, Cat Bunny from GIRLs.
That was a train wreck. I don't know if you listened to that episode, but...
It sounded wonderful.
It sounded like a normal night in marriagehood.
Yeah. Nice. People were drinking. People had fun. No eyes were lost. It was a success.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm going to let you go ahead and talk about your Twitch. What do you like to do on there? What's, why do you like to Twitch over just do standard Let's Plays on YouTube?
I like to Twitch because it provides direct interaction with people. I don't get a ton of people following me, but people tend to chime in and do backseating. My whole shtick is that I'm bad at games. I'm not actually terrible at games. I just don't ever play a game for long enough to get good at it. So I will play, a couple hours of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I'll have people from the Kingdom Hearts community come in and say, oh, you're supposed to do this, or you're supposed to do that. And you can kind of banter with them, talk back and forth with them about the game, kind of talk about some of the more meta aspects of the game or the deeper aspects of the game. And it's a good way to interact with people I wouldn't normally get a chance to talk to.
So I think... Go ahead, Devin.
I was going to say that's pretty cool because a lot of Twitchers don't appreciate people coming in and being like, oh, you're totally doing it wrong. You need to do this and that kind of thing.
Yeah. My current thing is I'm trying to learn how to play Dark Souls. So I picked what's regarded as the worst Dark Souls game, Dark Souls 2, and I've only been playing that on stream, so I've only been playing that in the eyes of the world, and I've been having people come in and say, oh no, you're supposed to use this strategy, oh no, you're supposed to go here and do this and get this item, and it's a different way to play a game, so it's kind of fun.
Absolutely, and it was funny, you bring that game up. I joined one of your Twitches where you were playing Dark Souls, and I feel like I was trying to help you out as much as possible.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate it. It's good. I have no clue about how to play those games, so that kind of interaction is really really good for me.
But you weren't bad, so that's good.
I think people who are... Because there are people who are just naturally good at the Dark Souls games. They're fucking witches, man. Nobody should be able to do that kind of stuff just without even thinking about it.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen some of those unnatural players, and I agree. It's witchcraft. It's like folding a fitted sheet. If you've ever seen someone do that, it's impossible.
Dude, my wife can fold fitted sheets pretty good. I literally roll them, and she's like over there, and it's a perfect square. I'm like, what did you do?
I refuse on principle alone. Fitted sheets get wadded up and thrown in the laundry basket because... just the general fact that they made it so hard to fold those, I'm not playing their game.
True that. True that.
It's all a conspiracy, I tells you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Big betting?
Yes, it's the big betting industry trying to tell us how we should conform and whatnot.
And make you feel bad because you don't know how to fold this monstrosity, this aberration.
Yes, yeah, it's all about them showing their superiority because you can be damn sure they know how to fold those.
Well, they got it into the package originally.
Well, they cheated. They used machines. Somebody needs to market a home use fitted sheet folding machine.
So hold on. I leave for half a second, and you guys are talking about packages.
We're talking about betting. This is our betting podcast.
Betting and packages. I feel like you're asking to bed I'm gonna stop. I'm done. I'm gonna just go home for the night because packages and bedding aren't my thing, but I'll let you guys continue.
You're in a really weird mood today, you know that?
Why?
Well, there was like the 3 times you texted me about being naked and stuff.
Well, you asked, okay, so just so everybody doesn't think that's weird in any way, which it's kind of, I guess, weird, but you asked, if we hit 100 subscribers on our YouTube page, what should we do? And I said...
Yeah, you did. And your suggestions all involve nakedness.
I only gave one suggestion, please, and you said that, and then I responded saying, well, we could get naked and roll around, I mean, separately, not in the same, like, thing, because that would be weird. But we could do that and roll around in a bunch of cut jalapenos.
I thought...
Go ahead.
I thought you were going to suggest some tasteful, nude, waist down, full frontal glamour shots to promote your channel. But jalapeno sounds great too.
And we decided against it because ultimately YouTube wouldn't let us put the video up anyway. So.
Yeah, that's fair. So I did say, Mr. Sporksan, I do not want you to think that you are not the special guest, but we had another special guest that was lined up for tonight, and I invited him to the call with us. He's the potato, the British potato.
Oh, I've made a mistake. I've made a grave mistake.
So, Sporksan, I feel like that's Japanese. You know vaguely someone, correct?
A bit. We've crossed paths.
So I figured it would be fun to have 2 guests tonight. What do you think of that? I feel like
this is a surprise even for me, man.
It is, and I feel bad. So, but we do have 2 guests.
Don't. I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness.
I would not describe any of this as... I describe you as greatness, Sporksan, because I'm quite fond of you.
It's because he's British. He just sounds like he's royalty.
Yeah, the podcast just got a hell of a lot classier.
Do I need to say penis a few times?
It even sounds classy when you say penis.
I was going to say, when you say penis, it sounds like it's from the Queen.
I'm a grown man!
So, vaguely someone, we were just going over Mr. Sporksan's Twitch channel, but I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself to the listening audience as well. This is episode 20, so this is a very special episode. Go ahead and introduce who you are and kind of what you do on YouTube. I gotta say, do you still have a YouTube channel?
I do still have a YouTube channel, and there will be content for that. I'd like to say soon, but the next thing I'm probably going to release is probably going to be in a month's time, to be honest. I focus a review for something that doesn't come out until a month's time, so I have to wait, and I've got nothing else lined up.
But I gotta say, you're one of those guys that, even though you don't post regularly to YouTube, you are a big, I want to say, a pillar of the community. And why I say that is, it's not because of what you post, it's how interactive you are on everybody else's channel. And even I saw you in Sporksan's Twitch. You are currently located in Britain, correct?
Yeah.
So he was twitching.
I think so.
He was twitching pretty late at night, and over there it's like a 6-hour difference, if I'm not mistaken. You're GMT 0.
Yeah, but he was also streaming Dark Souls 2, and I'll never pass up the opportunity to go into a Dark Souls 2 stream and just
because it's your favorite. It's your favorite Dark Souls game.
Does anybody else have a game like that? My personal game is The Last of Us. If I catch a streamer playing The Last of Us, I don't care what time of night it is, it's over. I gotta watch The Last of Us.
Yeah, but I assume you like The Last of Us.
Bob, you got any games like that?
I don't terribly check out Twitch unless it's somebody I know. So I think Instant Replay Live and Cat Bunny promoted your Twitch, Spork. Can I just call you Spork? Is that cool?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I decided to check it out because, you know, I too try to help out people, but I'm not regular on Twitch. I'm more on the YouTube side.
I will watch someone play Final Fantasy VI for hours, and it's the weirdest game for
why
speed
6?
running.
Why number 6 and not what is it about 6?
I have fond memories of Final Fantasy VI. I've started it 100 times. I've beaten it maybe twice. I just like the gameplay. I like the story. It's a nostalgia thing.
That is tactics for me. So I've played Final Fantasy Tactics probably 100 times. I've beaten it once or twice. But so my problem is I'll play it. I will stay in Mandalia Plains, the first, like between there and Egros Castle and Garland Magic City, and I'll just level up my guys. So I'll have like ninjas and calculators going into Swiggy Woods, I think is the next one. And I'll just get so killed because they're all just animals, and the animals level up with you, but the characters in the game don't. So if you're in a level with all just humans, they're like level 5, but if you're in there with like a chocobo or, you know, a cougar thing, I don't remember what they're called, they're the same level as you are, and since you don't get good weapons or armor or anything, you just get smoked.
I think that was my my first experience with Final Fantasy Tactics, because I came at it from the let's just power level my characters Final Fantasy 1 through 6 mentality.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, all right. So now we have, again, let's go over it. We have Vaguely Someone and we have Sporksan. And this is, again, a very special episode. So we're going to go ahead and go into the topic of stuff you play. So here's the bumper.
Stuff you play!
I love it. So that is, again, from Golem and Goblin. They were on a different episode. So we're going to start with you, Spork. What is a video game that you want to bring up to everybody listening today?
I want to promote Human Resources Machine to your millions of subscribers.
Oh my god!
I want to. I love this game. I'm currently about halfway through it, and it's absolutely amazing. It is a fun way to teach people how to program in assembly language, and it's super nerdy and super fun, and it's great. It's by the same people who made Little Inferno, if you've played that. So it's got that kind of tongue-in-cheek humor and that art style. But I feel like I'm actually bettering myself playing it, which is not something you often get from a video game.
I just recently got that in the Humble Bundle. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it was one of the reasons why I bought the bundle. It looked so much fun.
Oh yeah, it's super good.
So you code. It teaches you how to code. Is that for real?
Yeah, it teaches you how to code in assembly language, which is like one step removed from machine language, which is as low as you can get in like code.
So it's almost like the pseudocode that we had to draw in college because the professors were too lazy to actually do it in the program.
Yep.
I gotcha. So it does sound interesting, and it sounds like something that would teach a good like theology behind it, and not just how to code. So it teaches you like this structure of coding, because it is very structured, and they kind of go along the same ways, just different syntax throughout the different languages.
It's super frustrating. Like you get not that I'm an excellent programmer, but you get better languages, or you get newer languages, because they make it easier to do a lot of the things you have to do in this. In this, you're literally moving things into memory space and then copying to or adding to or subtracting from, and it's frustrating as anything, but it's great fun.
Nice. That sounds good. I might have to check it out, because it's been a long time since I've taken a coding class. I think it was Java, and I hated it, but it's fun to figure out the puzzle, right? So, okay. Vaguely Someone, do you play video games still?
Do I play video games? I've apparently been known to partake in them, but to be honest, it's more of a political statement now than playing a video game.
Sure. So, what political game are you playing today?
Well, I've described it by many names. Weeb War 2, The Quest for Nazi Waifus, or what if World War II is anime, but its actual title is Valkyria Chronicles. It recently got a re-release on PS4, I think, and it's been on Steam for a while and PS3 for a while, and it's effectively what if World War II was an anime? And it's actually amazing. I thought it was going to be a joke. It's actually incredible. I'm really shocked. I've been playing through it, and it's fantastic.
Nice. That sounds pretty cool. So it almost reminds me of a game. Have you played Operation Darkness, I think was what it was called?
No.
It was a 360 exclusive, and it was almost just like Final Fantasy Tactics, but it was World War II with a very anime like facade over the top of it, but it was Final Fantasy Tactics, and so it was so hard because you fight a tank and you're just people. But so this sounds cool. So is it like a JRPG or what?
It's odd because it has sort of a visual novel style feel. There's a lot of cutscenes, and there's a lot of dialogue, and there's a lot of sort of character development, and it actually feels like the strategy segment has taken a back seat to all of that. But the strategy is interesting because you get an overview map and you pick individual soldiers and you have a move set. So you'll pick one soldier, that'll take a move away, and you can move them into position, you can aim and you can fire, and that takes up a whole of one of their turns. And you do that for each individual soldier, and you've got, snipers and battlers, but it combines a sort of strategy game with a third-person shooter, but without sort of the deeper control of a third-person shooter. You just pick a target, aim, and then let the controller go.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
It's pretty sweet. I hear there's a beach episode later, and that just seals the deal for me. It's full-on anime.
Is this a beach volleyball episode or just storming the beach episode?
Oh, I hope it's both. I hope you storm the beach with volleyballs.
So it's like that volleyball game. What was it called with the big boob girls?
Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks.
The greatest game ever made.
Why is that, Devin? Please tell me that's I figured out the game you're playing this week.
No, I am a big fan of the series because the volleyball mechanics are just top notch.
Shut up.
There's no better volleyball simulator out there. It plays so solidly.
In his defense, I will say that I've heard that the first game actually really genuinely does have that, and then the later ones just turned into a tit fest. So that may actually be true. Apparently the volleyball's really good in the first.
He really likes boobs,
I was just
too.
joking. I'm just in it for the tits.
Yeah. It's genuine. I've heard that the volleyball's actually good in the first one, and then it literally just turns into, let's look at a bunch of half-naked women prance around. Which, if what you want to do, if that's what you want to spend 40, 50 quid on, then fine.
I always love hearing about video games that kind of stumble into being actually good. There was a rapper fighting game back, I think, for the PlayStation 2 or maybe the N64, somewhere around there. And it was actually a really good fighting game, but it was like you could fight Method Man versus like Exhibit.
That was one of the Def Jam fighting games, wasn't it?
Yes, that's it. Def Jam. Yeah, Battle for New York or something like that.
Something like that. I know that my personal favorite co-op 360 game was 50 Cent Blood in the Sand, which doesn't sound like it would be a good game because it's 50 Cent's licensed title, but it was incredible.
I've seen a playthrough of that. That actually does look really fun.
It's amazing.
Nice. My favorite licensed game was actually Shaq Fu for the Sega Genesis.
There is a certain charm to Shaq Fu that, unless you actually went to like your local grocery or Blockbuster and rented it, you're not going to understand it. I think I rented that game like 4 times.
I got it for Christmas one year. So I owned that game, and I'm not a basketball fan, and certainly not a Shaq fan, but it's like, why? What makes you think I would like this? And so I played it, and I beat it a couple times, and I thoroughly still enjoy it. It's not good.
That's funny because I was talking to a friend about this the other day. When you were a kid and you didn't have your own money or whatever, you got stuck with whatever games your parents decided to get you. And you fucking found a way to love them no matter how shitty they were. One of my favorite games from when I was a kid was Dick Tracy for the NES, and it's terrible. It's just about unplayable. But I probably put in as many hours into that as I've done into World of Warcraft.
Yeah. I have a few games like that. But so we'll go ahead and keep going. Devin, what game are you playing?
I'm going to preemptively call my strike here because I'm sitting here right now staring at Steam while it preloads Total War Warhammer. It's going to just be my life for like the next month. So I'm going to say in about 3 hours, that's the game I'll be playing.
So are you a Total War fan or are you a Warhammer fan? Or
I'm
both?
neither. I got sold on this game just based off of the gameplay, and I've been watching some people play it on Twitch that got early copies. I knew of the Total War games, but I'm not a big historical kind of guy, so, like Shogun and Rome and stuff like that. It sounds vaguely interesting, but the fantasy setting is what got me. The tactics of the fantasy setting. I'm just going to pretend that I'm playing the Lord of the Rings tactics, pretty much.
Nice. So what about you, Spork? Are you into any of the Total War or the Warhammer games?
I like the 40K universe stuff. I've played quite a few of those.
Yeah, those are... And Devin, I was kind of hoping you were into that because I bought the 2K bundle that came out a long time ago, and 40K is awesome. I love that game. It is a good RTS, and you don't find very many good RTS anymore. So, what about you, Vaguely? Are you into either of those two franchises?
I'm a Total War guy, and if you do, actually, Devin, if you do enjoy Total War Warhammer, I would recommend playing either Shogun or the first Rome, because those two are fantastic experiences. Just brilliant.
After I found out about the Total, I'm just so you guys know, I'm new to PC gaming. I've been a console gamer for the last 20 years, and I'm just now learning about all these franchises that never make their way to consoles. So, yeah, I was watching this gameplay, and I was like, oh my god, this just looks so awesome. And I pre-ordered it, and then I started looking, and it was like, oh, there's this whole series. So I'm sure that it's going to catch me, and I'm going to end up downloading Rome and Shogun as well. So
that's literally every RTS game with the exception of Halo Wars that you've missed out on.
Yeah, the last I'm trying to think of the last RTS game I played was probably Command and Conquer 1.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I used to be really into PCs and building computers and that. And when I went to college, it was just easier to have a console than dealing with PC parts and upgrading and all that. So, and I just never switched back until this year.
Well done. So yeah, I'm actually playing a game that has been on my wish list in Steam forever. It finally came out. It's called Grim Dawn. So have either of you guys heard of this? Either three? No?
It sounds really familiar.
So Grim
Sounds
Dawn
kind of generic.
it's a role-playing tower defense. And so it's kind of set in, it almost looks like Van Helsing times, so kind of like a gothic early 1800s, but it's very steampunk. So you have a core, and you protect your core, just like any other tower defense game, right? So you have a goal that you want to keep the bad guys from getting to. And you have a hero, and then the hero, you run around and you build different towers and traps. And as you progress through the levels, you start to you start to just be able to level up all your towers outside of, like, you go to the global map, which has all the different levels you can play. So you start to do it there, and you start to level up your hero. Now your hero can get different spells. It can get different passive, like auras and stuff that help different towers. You can get different passive skills, I guess is what they would be called. That gives you more experience per kill. It's just fun stuff like that, and it's a generic. I want to say it's just like a generic tower defense, but it throws in a nice, fun role-playing element to it. So, nobody's heard of that? I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, like Spork said, it sounds vaguely familiar, but I also think it has one of those titles, grimdark, that it sounds like something that you would see 100 times browsing the Steam store. Just the name alone.
Wow, I didn't mean Grim. I didn't mean Grim Dawn. I meant DeathTrap. I am sorry. I was on the wrong game on my Steam list. So it's called DeathTrap.
So,
I'm an idiot.
wait a minute. Wait. So the game is not Grim Dark or Grim Dawn. It's DeathTrap?
Yeah, sorry. I am an idiot. That's my fault. It's DeathTrap.
Way to show prep, bro.
Dude, it's. Hey,
I like how all three are equally generic.
yeah. So
Yeah, you just proved my point. All three of those sound exactly the same.
hey, that's why I got it confused, fucker. Just so you know. So here, let me read. I'll read the synopsis. DeathTrap is a tower defense game with strong. Let me emphasize that. Action RPG elements. A game with vicious tricks, killing machines, rotating blades, and spattering blood. It has a very positive review on Steam, which is great. So I think that's going to do it for the stuff you play. Anybody have anything else they want to bring up at this part? Perfect. Let's go ahead and go into the topic. So the topic tonight, and Devin, I'll let you go ahead and introduce this one. I feel like I introduced all the topics.
The topic tonight is piracy in video gaming. People who download their games through a torrenting site or something similar to that. And just is it okay to do? Is there issues with it? Kind of, what is your guys' takes on piracy in gaming?
Piracy is bad, okay?
Drugs are bad, okay? You shouldn't do drugs.
Yeah, you shouldn't pirate. I don't know. I'm interested to hear what Vaguely has to say about it. I know for me,
I actually
used
had
to.
this conversation very recently with someone.
Perfect.
And my take on it, honestly, I don't care if you do it. Seriously, if you're going to do it, then you're going to do it. This is just the kind of person you are. I only take issue when people try to rationalize it. If someone sits there and goes, oh, I'm going to pirate Ubisoft games to stick it to them, that's not you being some great person who's doing some greater good. You just want to play Ubisoft games and you don't want to pay for them. Just accept that. If you're going to do it, accept
own
that
your
do it.
douchebaggery.
Yeah, don't try and sit there behind some sort of thinly veiled wall of, I don't know, morality, I guess. Don't try and pretend you're doing something better than it actually is. You are stealing from someone else. That's what you're doing. That's fine. Well, it's not fine, but as long as you're okay, as long as you can accept that you're doing that, then that's okay. I have a lot of people actually. The guy I spoke to, he said that, oh, I'm not gonna, put 60 quid down. I'm not gonna put money down for a game and then find out that it's not very good. I'd rather pirate it and then pay for it. And I sit there and think, you wouldn't go into a restaurant, order a meal, eat half the steak, and then leave without paying. That's not how that works. You either pay for the full thing or you don't get it. There are games that I've not played that I really want to play that I'm not just going to pirate because I don't have any money for them. I'm just going to wait until I have money. I'll save up. I'll work towards getting it. I'm not going to exclusively pirate stuff.
Is there any merit, just playing devil's advocate, is there any merit to the argument that it actually could help sales in the sense that you're going to get somebody who was on the fence about buying a game or not potentially into the buying field?
Absolutely not, because everyone who's ever on the fence is on the fence about a lot of games, and for every game that they might actually play and buy, there are 5 that they didn't.
Right.
So it's just hurting. It's just going to keep hurting other people. Just because you selectively pick a few that you like doesn't make the rest that you've hurt a lot worse.
So, and I agree with you vaguely, for the most part. Now there are, I don't want to call them pirates because in this scenario they're not stealing. Okay, so in this scenario, and I'm going to talk about torrenting as a whole. So there was an actual Kotaku article about piracy, and this is kind of what made me want to talk about it. But so there was a lady in Russia. Okay, so she bought the game via Steam, and the Steam servers wouldn't allow her to download the game because of latency issues, and it was something like 6 days if she wanted to just leave it up there. And the way her internet worked out there, again, I'm not from Russia, so I don't understand the differences here, because here in the States, obviously, we have unlimited bandwidth that we pay for. So, but in her defense, if she kept it downloading for 6 days, she would be charged an arm and a leg through her internet provider. So instead, she bought the game, bought the license, bought the key, but she torrented the actual executable and the program.
That's a different situation, because she's paid for the product, and she's basically paid for the product already, and she's just having to use a different means to access that product. But
you wouldn't be able to if somebody didn't hack the game. So if somebody didn't figure out a way to remove the DRM from the game, she wouldn't be able to download it.
Oh, I'm definitely not against that. I'm not against the people who do that, the people who remove the DRM, people who get rid of the intrusive stuff. I'm against the people who are just taking these products and not, giving any money for them, not paying for them, not actually, paying for what they've got. And they're basically taking a luxury that they don't need to steal. They're not stealing bread here, they're stealing the new copy of Call of Duty. But people who take copies and they remove the intrusive DRM, and then people who may have bought the game who can't play them because of that intrusive DRM use the pirate version, that I've got no problem with. That's a workaround that for some people is necessary.
But how is it okay for one but not the other? Because
one person's paid for it.
No, right, but one is going to lead to the other. So somebody is doing something that modifies the game. Somebody is doing something that changes the original state of the game that the company released. And again, vaguely, I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
So, but somebody's changed the original game, modified it, and now has put it out on the internet while, we'll say the Russian lady is doing it legit, and she's doing it for a good reason, but the reason the person removed the DRM, damn well that's not for a good reason.
Well, I don't think necessarily, because that person had to get an access of a copy of the game. I don't necessarily think that the person who removes the DRM could be doing it for good or evil reasons. They could just be doing it because they're the ones with the skills to do it, so they do. That's not, if they want to modify the game, they have that product. If they paid for it, they pay for that product, they can change it however they want. If they put that out there, that's a bit skiffy, but to be honest, that's then on the people who take that product, who decide that, take that application, who decide that, instead of paying for this, I'm going to take this, or people who might need to take it because they've paid for it and they can't use it.
I feel you. So what do you think, Spork?
I'm pretty much in agreement. I think that piracy is a problem. I don't think that it's a moral choice to just go ahead and take a luxury item. Like they said, it's not stealing bread. It's stealing something you don't need to survive. So there's no real moral justification for someone who would pirate something. As far as the broken DRM, torrenting it because you can't download it from Steam argument, I don't know if that holds as much water for me.
I think that's very case by case, because some people use it as an excuse and be like, I can't obviously use it on Steam, so I can't put this money down for this. I'm just going to steal it instead. And it's like, you don't care. Just steal it. Just don't give it an excuse.
This is something that nobody ever talks about whenever they talk about pirating. The fact that it's been around as long as there has been tradable media. I'm old enough to remember recording songs off the radio or making mixtapes for my friends of songs that they had not purchased. The same thing with software. I'm old enough to remember trading, 3.5-inch floppies of Wolfenstein for Commander Keen or whatever games that my friends had. We all shared our media, and it was equally as illegal then, but it certainly wasn't the issue that it is now.
To be fair, you also were in a time where that sort of media may not have been as easily accessible as pretty much all media is now. There are so many different outlets and so many different ways you can get these items that choosing specifically the one that's illegal and is stealing is, to be honest, a lot of the time more work than it is just getting it legitimately.
So I
Yeah,
agree.
but I mean, if we are talking about an issue of funds, I mean, once again, when I was younger, that it wasn't, that it was so hard to get. It was that it was just a free game, and I shared it with friends and whatnot. So, I mean, is the problem really just the ease and the volume? Because up until there was something like Napster, nobody really considered this like the plague like they do now.
Right.
I'd probably say that volume. It's probably just volume, because again, then it's a far fewer amount of people. It's somebody who's maybe got the product and shared it. And generally, I've played games that I've borrowed from someone else. I've played through them, and I may not have purchased them afterwards because I may not have wanted to. But that's two people. When you've got pirate, you've got websites where hundreds of thousands of people are downloading this one thing completely for free and are taking perhaps millions of dollars or pounds or whatever your chosen currency is out of the hands of someone who made that product.
But couldn't you argue that if it wasn't free to them, that they probably wouldn't have played it anyways?
That's always been my argument. I'll tell you, I don't personally pirate media.
That's just what a pirate would say.
No, exactly. I don't pirate in the media anywhere. No, I mean, look, I'm an adult. I've got a job. I can pay for stuff, and I pay for stuff, and I'm old enough to now recognize paying for quality. I will give a developer who makes sure that they create a good game, I'll give them the full $60. CD Projekt Red got my money for Witcher 3 because they're such a damn good company, the way that they go about working things. But I can fully understand the argument that, I'm never going to buy a Ubisoft game. There's just not many Ubisoft. They don't make games that I'm really interested in. So if I was to check one out and pirate a copy, if that wasn't available, I was never going to probably play the Ubisoft game in the first place.
Right.
But does that Ubisoft game still have some value? I mean, do you still have to question, well, what would you pay to try this game out? Would it be $5? Would it be $2.50? I mean, we can talk about the impact of the Steam summer sale on piracy if you want to go down that route, because you see discounts of 90-95% on things. And is it just an opportunity cost for you of, I want to spend $5 and just have this thing to try it out? Or is it, I don't want to provide Ubisoft the full $20 or $30 or $40 for the product they're making, and I'd rather just steal it and try it out?
Yeah, and that's economics 101. A big problem in the video game industry is that they have a set price point for most games that are coming out. Current example is Overwatch. I don't think I would pay $60 for Overwatch, but they're offering it on PC for $40, and that gets close to the purchasing point for me. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what it's coming down to is that there's a broken pricing system that hasn't been updated in years. As far as the cost of gaming and the inflation rate that goes with gaming. And so if we're stuck with this fixed system, you're almost doing a disservice to yourself, because you might get somebody who would pay $25 for your game that will never buy it if it's $60 or it never goes on an extreme sale.
But I disagree with you there, because gaming right now is the cheapest it's been ever. And just like Spork said, the Steam Summer Sale provides limitless opportunities for cheap games. And then you look at something like Humble Bundle. So Humble Bundle, you're getting at least 5 games for $1. And you don't get to pick the games you want, but they're cheap. And so video games have pretty much stayed the same price since, the NES was out there. And they were still $60. And I remember paying for Legend of Dragoon on PS1. It was $75 where I bought it. And that was back before everything kind of leveled out with, the people getting a little bit more intelligent as to where they buy. But
yeah, I mean, look at something like Earthbound on the original SNES. That was close to $100 when it released.
Absolutely. And then you take the market value of that then and compare it to now, it's through the roof. And so not being able to afford a game now isn't an excuse anymore. You know what I mean? So
I feel like that depends by game.
And it also depends on the person. We're getting into really, really deep economic stuff. The value of a game or a value of any product is, unless it's a necessity, is going to be determined by the buyer. If I make the most awesome game in the world and I sell it, I feel like it's worth $100. If I can't get anybody to buy it for $100, it's not worth $100. So, it is a subjective thing, and it's really something that the gaming industry could work on making more available. If you make good games, people will pay for them. Not everyone, but if you make a good game and you set like a suggested donation, and Humble Bundle's a great example of that. They tell you this is what the average person pays for this bundle. This is the minimum you could pay for this bundle. And I know that I've gone in there and been like, well, man, that's, I know I really like this game, I really like this publisher. I'm going to, throw in an extra $5 or $10 or whatever, because I support them. And it's a personal choice. And if the gaming industry could move even further towards that, I think you would see the rate of piracy dropping significantly.
Yeah. I still disagree. And if it's a matter of you can't afford the game, so if you can't afford $60, maybe your money should be spent elsewhere. And it is unfortunate that if you can't afford it, you can't play it. So that doesn't mean you can steal
There's
it.
also, if you can't afford it, you might not be able to play it now, because obviously over time prices drop. It's sort of people who want to just consume it right now over people who are willing to wait and do it legitimately.
Absolutely.
That's the other side of the coin. No, in our day and age, everything is instant gratification.
Yeah.
So, that's waiting for something is getting very close to a foreign concept.
I absolutely agree. And, I'm not going to lie, I have pirated a game. I've pirated a few, but I got busted on one.
You bastard!
Hey, I got busted on one, and I deserved it. So I downloaded a copy of Wolverine Origins, and
of course it had to be like a game that nobody remembers or cared about after the first 10 minutes of playing it.
Right.
That game had more helicopter fights in it than anything since like a Call of Duty, a modern Call of Duty.
But okay, so I download the game, install it, and then you have to find the crack for it, so you don't have to play with a CD, because obviously the media or the game looks for a CD to be in the CD-ROM or the DVD, whatever. I'm old, and so I find a crack and I put the crack on. I go to install or play it. It doesn't do anything. So I'm like, oh, maybe I didn't do it right. And so vaguely, I think you said earlier that it is a pain in the ass to do a cracked game, to get it just to work. And so I'm sitting here fiddling around with it, and then all of a sudden my Steam closes. I'm like, what the fuck? And so then I go to log in, and I get an email that says my password's been changed. I'm like, you're kidding me. And so I go to log into my email, my password's been changed there too. So it was funny, and I figured it out and I caught some of them. I was able to change some of my passwords before, but there was I used a hex decoder on the executable, and there was an FTP server that it would write to. And so I logged in. It didn't encrypt it or anything, so it had the username and password. I logged into it, and I found a notepad with all of my saved passwords from Firefox. And so whoever created that created an executable that decrypts your Firefox passwords and uploads it to an FTP. Shame on me.
It's also kind of terrifying.
You're still a bastard.
It was. And, my fault. I've never done it since.
But when you did it, I'm sure you weren't under the illusion that you were doing it out of some grand sense of goodness. You just wanted to play Wolverine Origins.
Yeah, and I was a college kid. I was poor as shit, so I understand what I was doing. I fully understand what I was doing. And if you want to find me, my name is Devin. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. So I do want to say, Sporksan, thank you so much for being here. Vaguely, thank you so much for joining us. I know, Spork, I kind of shared time for you, but I felt like this was a great 20th episode to bring everybody together.
No, this has been wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Sporksan, we should start our own podcast and then invite one of them on and invite the other one on halfway through.
Fuck that,
excellent.
man. Bullshit.
That is a great idea. Where did you come up with that? That's wonderful.
So the funny thing is, I actually surprised Devin too. And vaguely, you and I know the reasons why. We don't have to go over them here.
You make it sound sketchy.
Is there a blood feud?
Was there some kind of backroom dealing? Like,
No, it was double booked.
Are you going into business for yourself here?
No, so, okay, to be fair, I asked Vaguely if he wanted to be on the show. He said, I'll have to check Monday. I didn't get his Twitter notification that he said he's good, and so then I booked Sporksan to join us, and then Vaguely's like, hey, I'm here, where you at? I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't get these until just now. I'm really, really sorry. And here, let me bring you into the show. Because if it was anybody else, I probably wouldn't have brought him in. But Spork, I know you're part of the community with Vaguely, and we all kind of just hang out together anyways. So I felt like it wasn't a big deal to bring him in.
He rehearsed that very well.
Professionalism at its finest. That's what we're really going for here, guys.
Hey, if you can't admit to your faults and your mistakes, you're never going to grow.
What if you don't have any faults and mistakes?
Then you're vaguely someone.
Oh.
That was smooth.
That was. I'm good, right? So I do want to say thank you again to both of our guests. This was a great 20th episode, and here's to hopefully another 20 more. Devin, thank you for being co-host of the year.
Thanks. I'm kind of permanent on here. You don't have to thank me for coming on anymore.
I want to thank you every time because it's a choice. You could choose not to come on here and be like, fuck it, I'm out. But I do want to say thank you again. Thank you to everybody listening. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you loved it, hit the subscribe button. Be sure to check out some of our other series that we have going. Devin has Retro Turds, where he is playing some shitty NES games. So Alien 3. Sorry, I fucked it up again. Alien 3 is the first game that's up. Be sure to check out our Stink Flicks. We did just review Shark Avalanche. Wait.
Avalanche Sharks.
God damn it, that's the worst name ever.
That's the best name in the world.
I want to watch this movie now just based on the name.
No.
Watch our review before you watch it. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to just self-promote here. Watch the review before you watch it.
Please. We did you all a real solid by watching this movie for you.
It is extremely bad. So the idea of Stink Flicks, we watch a 1-star movie on Netflix and review it. So this falls within that 1-star movie. And then be sure to check out Hearthstone Corner, where I do some arena runs and with a twist though. So again, thank you all for watching, listening. I don't know, whatever one you're doing. I know some people listen. I know some people watch. And we'll talk to you next time.
Hey everybody, this is Devin.
And this is Bob.
We want to thank you for watching the video. If you like what you watch, make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel as well.
Be sure to check out some of our other videos that are appearing on your screen as we speak.